Hello everyone and welcome back to my Star Citizen channel. First off, a quick note, maybe a bit of shameless self-promotion, let's say. My last video, well, YouTube kind of punished it for whatever reason. I strongly assume it's because the video just wasn't long enough. It barely got any views. And that just shows you again how brutal this whole YouTube game actually is. You really have to offer long-form content. YouTube apparently loves long videos. I mean, everyone knows that. Because only then does the algorithm actually push them out. I see that very clearly with my other videos, especially the first one I made in English about land claims. I got over 11,000, almost 12,000 views on that one. Why? Because the video was 30 minutes long. At least this is what I think. So please do me a favor and give this video a like if you enjoy it. And try to watch it all the way to the end. I really want to know if that's actually the reason. This is basically a little test for me right now. Let's all see together what comes out of this experiment. Whether YouTube boosts my views just because we are really diving deep here. Alright, let's get to the actual topic. I've got some really exciting stuff on the table today. Let's jump right in. Do you guys know the YouTuber Quick? He just made 2 videos, if not even 3 videos about something that actually affects all of us, real money trading and exploits. There are websites out there, I'm not gonna link them, don't worry, but on these sites you can buy in-game currency. And we are not talking a few million here, we are talking 100 million, 500 million or even 1 billion alpha aUEC. And here is the kicker, it costs like €1. 1 single euro for a billion credits. Well, for us Europeans it's €1, but or even less, but for the people who pay in dollar it's exactly like $1 or a little bit more. That's completely insane. I mean, in real life, €1 won't even get you half a coffee. But in Star Citizen, you can basically buy half the fleet with it. And that's exactly what happened to Quick. He suddenly had a ton of money on his account, out of nowhere. No idea from who, no idea why. And now he is scared his account will get flagged, that he will get banned, even though he never wanted that money. Go check out his video, I've linked it below. He is making some really important points there. And I did some digging too. Back in 2024, there was already a wave where CIG permanently banned around 600 accounts. So they do take this seriously. But my advice to you, if you suddenly get money from a stranger, don't immediately buy ships with it. That looks suspicious. Just report it to support real quick. And I'm totally with Quick on this. There needs to be a wipe. CIG just needs to pull the trigger and clear out all this garbage. Because honestly, anyone who buys billions for €1 is just ruining their own fun anyway. I'm guessing with the next patch we might actually see a wipe, like Quick also suggested. And again, at this point, a request to you guys. People, please do me a favor and like his video and subscribe to him. He really addressed a very important point there that is really crucial for the health of the game. You would really be helping him out. And as I said, anyone who buys billions for €1 is just ruining their own fun. Not just his own fun, also the fun of other players. But in general, I fully agree with Quick. There definitely needs to be a wipe. That's why my colleague suspects, and I think it's very likely that we might possibly see a wipe with the next patch. Who knows? And a question I get asked quite often, how exactly does CIG actually detect these people? I mean, when alpha aUEC is being sold, they must have some kind of methods to track that, right? My thinking is, it probably happens statistically and internally. I mean, on CIG servers, that should be pretty visible when suddenly someone has billions of alpha aUEC in their account or transfers extreme amounts. I don't think it's hard to write formulas or algorithms that recognize such an abnormal pattern. But again, who I am, I mean, I'm not even a programmer. But what surprises me, why haven't they punished or banned these people yet? If CIG really cracks down as hard as they say, why don't we see any public communications about it? At least on Reddit or Spectrum, we would have caught some posts from banned players by now. On top of that, they know all these web pages of these sellers, right? Instead, it looks like these sellers are still active, happily selling billions away. The other thing that also surprises me, how is it possible that CIG in their database can't see when someone suddenly has billions of alpha aUEC in their account? That should be like a massive red flag. A normal player needs weeks or months for millions. since if someone has billions all at once, that should be impossible to miss. My suspicion, either CIG hasn't really prioritized this issue, or it's more complicated than we think from the outside. Maybe legal questions are tricky, or it requires intensive investigations per case, I don't know. But honestly, after 15 years you should be able to have an automated system for this. And that brings us to the next topic, update 4.5. Maybe we will see a wipe, maybe not, I don't know. But what I'm most excited about, Vulkan, the full implementation. Why? Because it brings massive benefits for background calculations, NPCs, stuff like that. And something I almost forgot to mention, I'm super curious if the game will finally run better on AMD graphic cards with this. That's always been an issue. The cool thing is 4.5 is basically right around the corner. It's supposed to go into aUEC soon. Maybe even without NDA, which would mean we would finally see real gameplay footage of the new engineering. I mean, we already saw some footage, but it's always good to see a better version. One of you asked me in the comments recently, and hey, if you are watching this right now, shout out to you. They asked what exactly the difference is between Vulkan and the current DirectX or DirectX 11. The short version, it's mainly about multi-core usage. Right now, Star Citizen doesn't really use CPU cores efficiently with DirectX 11. A lot gets stuck on few threads while other cores just sit there and doing nothing. Vulkan is built from the ground up so multiple cores can work simultaneously. That means if 4.5 comes with Vulkan, all cores can finally pull their weight. And one more thing, I'm not 100% sure on this, but it would make sense. Vulkan might also be connected to the sound engine rework. With such a deep engine overhaul, it would be logical that they are not just touching graphics and CPU stuff, but also modernizing the audio system. But yeah, don't expect a new audio engine headline on the roadmap tomorrow, but something is happening in the background. And now I need to vent for a second. It's about the new ship weapons for the Kruger Wolf Alpha. They cost 15 euros. I don't know how much in dollar, but for me they cost approximately 15 euros. 15 euros for weapons. There are, entire ships for 30 or 40 euros. And the weapon is supposed to cost half of that. And here's the thing. You currently cannot buy these weapons in-game, only with real money. That's pay to win for me, period. You are giving someone who pays an advantage that others can't have right now. Yeah, I mean, sure, they will come to the game later, but as long as they are exclusively behind the paywall, the you don't have to buy it argument doesn't work for me. And let me be clear, this isn't about whining. CIG is a company and yeah, they should make money of course, but give players the options to buy the stuff in-game at the same time. If I had the choice, grind or pay, I would be fine with it, but this way it just feels like a shady marketing strategy. Alright, and since we are going really deep today, I've got the third topic for you. This came to me last night while scrolling through my Discord. It was about the Drake Clipper. The ship is being hyped everywhere right now, you know that. But in my Discord, suddenly someone was like, guys, aren't you overreacting a bit? The ship isn't that special. And one person said, just because the Clipper has crafting doesn't make it special. You can just take these crafting machines and put them in any other ship. And another was like, yeah, okay, it has a med bay, cool, yeah, that's an advantage, but that's about it. And interestingly, a few people agreed with them, but I have to disagree, and let me explain why. And by the way, that's also the reason why I wanted to bring this up here. It's not about having some crafting device sitting around somewhere. The special thing is the integration, in my opinion. As far as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, on the Clipper, the crafting device is directly connected to the cargo grid. That means everything on your cargo grid, crates of resources, materials, loot, can be used directly by the crafting device. You don't have to hold stuff back on force. The system automatically dramatically excesses your cargo hold. If you put just a workbench on your Cutlass, yeah, it's not connected to the cargo system. You have to load everything manually. That might be fun at first, but in the long run it's just annoying. And then add the medbay on top. Something like the Drake Clipper hasn't existed in this form before. Cargo, crafting and the medbay, all in one ship in such a small footprint. Back in the day you always had the question, what do we get? Cutlass Red for a medbay or Cutlass Black for a cargo? You always had to choose. And the Clipper? It ends that discussion. This ship offers everything at once. And that's why I honestly wonder, why would anyone get a Cutlass Black or Red in the future if they can have a Clipper? I mean, at least if you are a solo player. For me, the hype is totally understandable. So let's now talk about one of the last videos of Camural. Camural is also one of the, I would say Star Citizen YouTubers who a little bit makes, spicy Star Citizen videos. But overall, I'm really glad that people like Camural keep bringing up these topics. We need voices that objectively track what CIG might be doing wrong or still hasn't delivered. That's the only way studios stay on their toes. But please, always stay fair and objective, and Camural usually does that. He said right at the start of his video that NPC crews will probably only come after 1.0. And yeah, I think too. After the last CitizenCon, that was pretty foreseeable for a lot of us, if not even the CitizenCon before. The vision was one of the reasons so many of us invested in Star Citizen in the first place. And you have to admit, part of his vision has become reality, but a big part just hasn't yet. That's the deal we accept as bakers. Still, I have to agree with Camural. Some of it is just empty talk or feels like stalling tactics, especially when you ask yourself, okay, cool, but when is this finally coming? What I don't think is right though, picking apart every old statement from CIG or some dev on Spectrum and going, failed to deliver again or broken promises again, that's not a healthy attitude, even if the general frustration is understandable. I believe that CIG has always had good and honest intentions at their core, or at least they did it in the beginning. Developing this massive game, some things probably turned out to be impossible. Maybe not, we don't know, and in the end only time will tell. That's part of the game development process. Through constant trial and error, through mistakes and detours, in the end a product emerges that's still more than the sum of its patches. CIG has a goal in sight, so do we. Ideally everyone is giving their best, and sure, sometimes it doesn't work out. Then everyone has to decide for themselves whether what comes out in the end is still the game they originally wished for. But that's exactly the risk and the magic of such a massive project, in my opinion. So guys, that was a lot of info and opinions. I hope you could follow my train of thought. It was important for me to discuss these topics together because they are all connected. The broken economy, the hope for 4.5, the ship hype and the criticism of the development. Now it's your turn, and do you see the aUEC inflation as critically as I do? Are you a pro vibe? And what do you think about the Clipper? Write it in the comments. I will take some time tonight to answer as many as I can. And don't forget our little experiment. If you watched this so far, thank you. Drop a thumbs up if you liked it, and it helps me show that long content actually works. I will stay on these topics for you, especially 4.5 and the Vulcan story. As soon as there is a news, you will hear it here. Until then, take care and see you in the verse. Bye.